are back on the Zero Hour. This is your host, Richard RJ Eskow. Obviously, the Supreme Court is the topic du jour, and why wouldn't it be after all? Joining us now is my friend Murshed. Zaheed Murshed is a former senior aide on Capitol Hill. He works on a number of issues and causes. I always look forward to speaking with him. And one of the projects he's associated with now is entitled Take Back the Court. So without any further ado, I guess, Murshed Zaheed, welcome to the Zero Hour.
Thank you so much for having me here, Richard. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you too. So tell us about Take Back the Court.
So Take Back the Court is a progressive organization, and it's an organization that is advocating for the expansion of the Supreme Court. We believe that Mitch McConnell and Senate Republicans stole the Supreme Court from us 4 years ago when they decided to pack it in, essentially pack the court with right-wing justices by holding the seat open and essentially taking away, stealing a seat from President Barack Obama's ability to nominate. And since then, it's been pretty clear that Mitch McConnell and his folks at Federalist Society and all his minions, they have been on a very strategic mission to pack not the Supreme Court, but the U.S. courts all over the place with far-right conservative ideologues. And our focus right now is to really unpack this rig courts and rebalance it by adding seats to it.
So the way I interpret that, Murshed, or the way I would, kind of process it, my own way of thinking, is that the democratic process has been violated. And that, of course, people remember the Merrick Garland appointment. And because it's been violated, and I would say, along with the kind of norms that used to govern the whole selection of who you want to nominate, all of that, that it's kind of been replaced. The idea that this is somehow a nonpartisan institution floating outside politics has been replaced by a party that wants certain things to happen, regardless of the Constitution. They kind of retrofit it to those ends. They hijacked the court with, in my view, with their selection of people, as well as the process in the case of denying President Obama the ability to appoint in 2016. And so this is a strategy to roll that back, to restore justice, right?
Correct. And this is more about really rebalancing our democratic institutions so that it really reflects the makeup of our country and where it is right now. I think you said about what you alluded to, the power. What we have experienced under Mitch McConnell and essentially the current iterations of the Republicans' far-right leaderships, they have been on decades-long quest of just consolidating power, pure consolidation of power. This is not really about some kind of ideology about making this country a better place, but this is about locking in minoritarian power of their white majority base, white majority base that has been shrinking part of the populations, and that is why they have been absolutely ruthless, and they have completely disregarded norms and precedents when it comes to governance. So by all accounts, they stole the seat in 2016. There's no ifs and buts. Obviously, McConnell at that time made up a rule which we now call McConnell rule, is saying that there shouldn't be a president should not be filling any Supreme Court seat before the election. That was clearly, they made it up. and by their actions now, it's more than obvious that that was all just I can't think of a bad word, and I'm not going to think of a bad word on the air, but we knew exactly what it was. It was hypocritical. But this is beyond hypocrisy. This is about essentially rebalancing rebalancing the system we have. They have corrupted the system. They have hijacked it. So we gotta fix it. And one of the big structural fixes here is adding seats to it. And adding seats to the court, actually, I would submit it's the reasonable thing to do. It is the proportional response to what Mitch McConnell and the right wing has done over the years. And this is perfectly constitutional. The Constitution provides this. The Constitution empowers the Congress to pass legislation, president to sign, that allows for adding 1, 2, 3, 4 seats to the court, and we have done it in the past.
Right, as I recall, the number of justices on the court is not spelled out in the Constitution. So, so you're not altering the Constitution. You don't need an amendment. You simply pass a law and it's done. Now, obviously, so I'm all for it. I think it's a great idea, to assuming that Democrats win the presidency and Senate. Especially, I think it rebalance by appointing more justices. I mean, there are a couple issues that come up, Murshed, though. One of which is, well, okay, how many seats would you add? And I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I personally don't have any hard numbers on it. I mean, I think you can add 2, you can add 4. I think at the end of it, we should have a Supreme Court that really reflects the makeup of which reflects our country. Let's go back to the numbers. Our current occupant of the White House, he lost the presidential election in 2016 by popular vote. His Secretary Clinton won the election by more than 3 million votes. If you look at the makeup of United States Senate, the majority party represents the minority population, a minority part of U.S. population. I think it is. And the way the Senate and the Electoral College has been set up was retrofitted for a time when retrofitted time for a couple of centuries ago. And I don't think we have to even go in details about what applied in 2000 in the 1770s or does not really apply in 2020s. I mean, that is just absurd. So we feel like we need to have a Supreme Court that really should reflect the makeup of this country, so that the public can have confidence in our system yet. Because, Rich, you probably, I don't think it's a secret that folks are very disillusioned about the way our government and our democratic institutions are set up. It's under enormous pressure. And we need to take proactive measures to regain that confidence. We need to take proactive measures so that majority of this country really has the confidence that the institutions represent them, and they represent them in a way that also does not take away the rights of the minorities either. So that's why we feel this is a perfectly proportional response to the very strategic, deliberate, and right-wing power grab that we have experienced in our country for the last couple of decades.
And again, we're talking with Murshed Zaheed about the Take Back the Court campaign. And I believe the website is it takebackthecourtnow.org? Is that the website? So people can go?
It is. It's takebackthecourt.today.
Oh, okay. All right, good. So what kind of pushback do you get when this idea comes up? The one I've heard, the most common counter argument is, Democrats get in, they add 2 or 4 seats. Then Republicans get back in and they add another 4 seats. And then pretty soon you have a 30-member court. Now, of course, one way Democrats can avoid this is by not losing anymore. But that aside, I mean, what kind of counter arguments do you hear, and what's your response?
Yeah, that's definitely an argument that we hear. My colleague Aaron Belkin, who's just an amazing activist and who started Take Back the Court a couple of years ago, offers an example that resonated with me when I first talked to him about this project 2 years ago. He said, let's say, Murshed, you're in the subway or whatever, and somebody picks your pocket, and you can tell who picked your pocket. What do? Do you just freeze right there and say, there goes my wallet with all my credit cards and whatever cash I had in? I just got violated. I'm just going to let it go. Or do you try to do something about it if you see the thief in person? It's like, hey, what are you doing? Try to get it back. So this is the option the Democrats have. This court, Republicans stole it. The current and it is essentially a 5-3 majority, and this is a majority that is a direct result of a grand theft Mitch McConnell orchestrated in 2016. What are we going to do about it? Are we going to just let it go and say, okay, we'll get it next time? Or are we going to try to do something about it? Because as you know, Richard, things are only getting urgent. I live here in the Bay Area, and I was living under orange sky. We had orange sky just days ago. Our state is completely on fire. We have 5 of the biggest fires that's happening. The entire West Coast is on the fire. As we have to realize that any big legislation that we want to push in the coming years, whether it is Medicare for all, whether it's Green New Deal, whether it's reinstating the Voting Rights Act, we can have the biggest majorities in the House and great majorities in the Senate and pass legislation. This current court is going to take it all away. They're just going to take it away. I mean, that is exactly what Brett Kavanaugh and Gorsuch and Alito and Thomas and Roberts are going to do. That is exactly what they're going to do. And then once they have one more Trump stooge in that they're working so hard to get in before this election, it's going to be 6-3. Generations and generations of progress that we have, they're going to shred it, gut it. And anything that we try to do to counteract it, they will put up a right-wing firewall on it. So the only way we fight back against that is do what Constitution allows us to do. It's a step we have to take. And for once, if Democrats and progressives exercise and leverage the power the Constitution affords them to do, it will maybe then get into Republicans and understand, you know what, we're not going to be able to bully these guys anymore.
And maybe, who knows, that will be the start of behavioral modification.
Absolutely.
Once you pick a fight, you feel pretty good if you win it. And maybe the Republicans will be a little less inclined to push the boundaries of decency or transgress them as freely as they have been. So, Murshed Zaheed, before I let you go, what can people do about this issue? How can people educate themselves? How can people express their opinions on this?
Yeah, so there are a couple of really simple things that they can do, and I appreciate you the opportunity to share it. One was, I will reiterate, please go to the site takebackthecourt.today. Go to the site, and it's a small org. It's a scrappy org, but they have made amazing progress in the last couple of years. I think we have worked so hard that I think folks are understanding why this is so urgent, and we are seeing amazing support, right? We have had 17 organizations who have come out in support of it. We have had progressive superstars and champions like Senator Ed Markey, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler. They are out on record now saying that this is a consideration. This is something that we have to consider, and we have to. And we even have Chuck Schumer going on record saying that we need to keep all options on the table. That would not have happened without the work that we and organizing that we have been doing. So I urge folks to go there and get all the information. And then if what would be really helpful right now is if folks can support our efforts. There's the donate button right there. Click on it, give what you can, because this is the only way. These are the kind of big structural changes we so desperately need to save our country, Richard.
I agree with you absolutely. So Murshed, Zaheed, thanks so much for working on this effort, and thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you so much again, Richard. Hang in there. Be safe. Be strong. Appreciate you.
You too. And we'll be right back after this. I am Richard RJ Eskow, and this is the 0 Hour.